Anthony will tell you about his pathway for more as 20 years as a coach himself. The way that brought him to the stage with the Kookaburras, and he's going to talk to you about the culture related to performance. And we all know that the Aussie culture is a special one, so there's a lot to be learned from that from us. So, Potsy, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks for listening to me, guys. I probably only have one rule, and it's not really a rule, but because I've been back in Australia for so long now, or for 4 years, my Australian slang is back. So if I tend to get too excited or start speaking Australian slang, you can pull me up really quickly and I'll get some Queen's English going for everyone again.
We love the Aussie language.
Yeah, it is special. Look, Ernst asked me to give a presentation, and one thing we do really, really well at the Kookaburras is do a lot of self-reflecting, not only the group, but also the staff. It makes us as a staff better, but it also makes us individually better for the future, not only for today, but tomorrow, but maybe for Tokyo, but also the next Olympic cycle. So in discussion with Ernst, I thought I'd do some reflection on my coaching over the last 20 years and how that trends to the way of play today with the Kookaburras and next week and the weeks after. So I've been in this industry now 20 years for men, women's coaching, youth coaching. It was really enjoyable to put it all onto paper. So there was three main principles that I find really, really important. And the first one is people and management skills. And I'll go through them in detail as we go on. The second one is you need to know your sport. Now, our chosen sport is hockey, and you need to know this sport. Again, I'll go into detail why. And the last one is, maybe it's the most important one, but you always need to be yourself. You can copy structures, and we all do. And we see Belgium do something, Germany, and everyone copies us, because we know that. But at the end of the day, you can copy a way of play, but you can't copy someone to be them. You need to be yourself. So let's go back to the point one with the management skills. I've learned over the years, you need to learn to know your people. And the way you can do that is ask. And that is your staff, that is the technical director of the club, the CEO, right through. But also what is really important, you need to learn your players, because they're all different. It's a different generation to what I was brought up to and what everyone was brought up to in the room. And by learning to know your players is very simple. Just ask them questions. And as you ask the questions, you'll learn a common goal. And that is what I call an interaction goal. So we have a lot of different players in the team. But what I've worked out over the last 4 years with 27 athletes, and some come in and out, but we don't have too many changes, is I've got 27 different connection points with the lads. And that's my go-to. And especially as Tokyo heats up, the pressure mounts more on them. So it's always a go-to, a conversation breaker. It's really important, I found, to listen to what the player is saying, or the guy or the person, but let's just stay on the athletes. Listen to what the lads are saying. When I was younger, I listened to give answers, and being older, I listen to what they're saying, because sometimes they actually don't want answers. They just want to be heard. They've missed selection and they want to grieve and they want to pay out in the world. It's not for me to say, oh, bad luck, all right, because it's high performance sport. So it's always selection based. So listen to what they're saying and then take a step back, a really good thought process or a simple thought process, breathe, and then give an answer if the answer is actually necessary. So it comes back to accessing your players. So mine is the go-to point day in, day out. Some like football, some like surfing, golf, study. We've got the guys with children in the team. So we have, I have a common, actually we're really lucky because I have Matthew Swan, Ed Ockington, that are all married to Dutch girls. So the Australian Dutch hockey team will be phenomenal in Australia in 15 years. So, but that's a common goal and a common icebreaker for us. Ed is really a good family man, and my girls play with his boys. So, talking about kids is a great line breaker for us. We see each other every day at hockey. We don't need to be talking how we play hockey in our downtime. So that's connection at all levels, because everyone's different, and you have the single guys, you have guys in relationship, the studiers, we have tradesmen in Australia, and we have workers, and we balance that through a high performance program. So it's a challenge. It's a really, really enjoyable challenge to talk to these guys day in and day out to get them to bring the best out of them. The next point is to share your responsibilities. Now, I'm an assistant, but I'll speak as a head coach in the past. That was very, very difficult when I was younger, because you don't fully trust yourself yet. So you're thinking everyone's watching you and analysing you and talking behind your back, and you lose a game, and you had to walk along the old orange white line, and everyone would be telling you how to coach. And one, you need to own it. So just own the situation and the responsibility. And two, share the responsibility. So share it with the players, share it with the staff, share it with the club, so it involves everyone. It's with Colin Batch, our head coach, he is one of the best sharers I've ever seen. And I think that grows on Rob and I and all our external staff through the group. So the ability to share like we are on this platform today is really important. It takes a long time to trust yourself, and it's something that you cannot tick off in a book and say it's done. It has to be reviewed and challenged week in, week out. So it's really important. My role, or our role with the Kookaburras, it's not about Colin, myself and Rob and the staff. It's about taking the guys on a journey. And as Ant said, when you're involved with such an elite and a prestigious team as the Kookaburras, they make it very clear that they want to win tournaments. And the Kookaburras never show up, and doesn't matter what team we take, they go to win it. And you've seen them, the World Cup with the tears, and that's genuine, because they didn't, we got a bronze medal at the World Cup, and we lost one game on shootouts, but they went to win it. And if you ask them today, they will say, "Yeah, Jesus Christ, we should have won that." And that's a great attitude to have as a player. And our job is to take them on that journey. They tell us what they want, and we, it's a theatre for us. We orchestrate what they want to do, and they want to do well in Tokyo, and we'll set them up to do well. And that's something to be really special about this group. What I've also noticed in this group, but also at the past, in my last group, Nijmegen, and every team I've actually been involved with, the athletes don't know how good they are. They think they're good. They have the demons in their head that they doubt themselves also. So it's up to us, again, while we take them on this journey, their journey, to get the best out of themselves, as people, but also hockey players. At the end of the day, they want to be hockey players for their country, their club, their district. It doesn't matter, but that's what they want to be. What we do with the Kookaburras, from the day we took over as a collective staff, because we all started at similar times, is what we call in Australia a blue-collar training program. So we went back to basics in the sense where we really encouraged the guys to get back to study, the workers to work 3 days a week, the tradesmen to work 2-3 days a week. The guys that don't want to do nothing, you're not doing nothing, you're going to coach or do something. We find out the guys train better and they're more attentive to detail. They have more pocket money, which is great, but they actually become better people. And that's also getting the best out of them and taking them on their journey. So push them to make the best and be that they won't know that, but when you can get them to make them better, you'll get more and more out of them all the time. My second point was knowledge of hockey. I wrote in my notes, actually, knowledge of sport. And I find ball sport really interesting because the way the Europeans play it, you have soccer, football on TV most nights, and a lot of the theatrics around that is from football base, which is awesome. And in Australia, we have rugby and we have AFL, and that's grown men basically smashing each other. And you see that also in the way of our play. Our guys ride tackles and jump, and people say we're dirty. It's just the guys are just having fun. So I find that really, really interesting. But you need a knowledge of hockey, and I call it grinding away. You need to grind away today, tomorrow, and the next day. And maybe it's like breadcrumbs of information. You pick it up from everywhere and you put it in, you're making a huge loaf of bread, right? And that's your knowledge and your knowledge of the game. One piece of advice here, watch the game. With all the technology we have now, and we have video operators, you have performance analysts, and you have 14,000 codes and output windows and statistics on everything, you can fall into a trap of just watching timelines. Yeah, a code. I watch all the build-up. I've watched this and that, so I know what's going on in the game. It's not until you analyze the game or watch the game you get a true feeling for what the tension in the game. And again, when you work with the kookaburras and you're showing a clip and you haven't watched the game, the guys will cut you down in 2 seconds. Because what you perceive as a build-up and look for this pass on, the guys will say, no, we don't, because it's 1-1. So this is what we have to do. So you need a feeling for the game. So Rob and I, our other assistant, you'll see us watching always in the stadium, the team we play the next day, always. And that's just part of what we do when we're away. Colin comes to a lot of them, or sometimes he's with the troops or the boys, or we reverse role. But pretty much Rob and I, with our skill sets within the group, always watch, and then we go and dig into the timeline, but we get a feeling. This happened because the score was 2-1, etc. So I would take that advice, guys. It's really, really important to know the game and to get a good feeling. The third point, be yourself. Just be yourself. You know, for me, is to be enthusiastic, to walk into the room, and I want to just light up the room every day. Say good day to the boys, give a couple of box, high five, get organised. You know, you're creating their dream, and the hockey field's the theatre that morning, and you have to run the show. Because if they see you excited to be there, and we're really fortunate in Perth that winter is 22 degrees, but people find that cold, it's just, okay, this is awesome. You know, we're doing what we love, and it's going to be hard for the next 2 hours, but this is awesome because we will achieve our goal one day. So be yourself. I remember, and I was a fanatic. I still am a Liverpool supporter. So when I was young, whoever the Liverpool coach was, and we had a lot back then, I thought I was him, even though I didn't even know the guy. But it was the fantasy land I lived in, and you make changes over the time. So be yourself. Let's go into high performance here, because high performance sport is, one, it's not for everyone, and two, it's not comfortable. And there's no rule book that it should be comfortable. It is highly strung athletes, men or women, wanting to achieve the best they can be in the sport. So I need to push myself every day and push myself to be organised, to light up the room, to push the guys in the dream, to upskill them, to have knowledge against opposition. But we also need to push the group, because if it's comfortable, I worry. If it's that's a nice training, and I used to always, I would always stress in Europe when the guys or the girls would say, "Oh, Ant, that was a nice training," and that the drive home was, okay, that's great, but they're comfortable with it, and comfortable is on Sunday when you get the 3 points, or when we get an international game done. You're comfortable for 10 minutes and then you reset. But it is, if you want to play half class in the Belgian First League, they're professional athletes, men and women, so they need to be pushed, and it's high performance.
Quick question, intermezzo here then, Potsy, if you don't mind. How do you trouble the comfortable. That's the saying that I've heard from the great Charles Ward as well. You got to trouble the comfortable. How do you do that at a training? How do you get them out of their comfort zone and